Let's have a session on types of growth. So types of growth are different to methods of growth. Methods of growth are mergers, takeovers, JVs, joint ventures, or franchising. And then if you want more granularity, you'll look at the type of growth. And the types of growth are here, and they are backwards vertical integration, forwards vertical integration, horizontal integration, and conglomerate integration. So they are the types of growth, not to be confused with the methods of growth. For the methods of growth, click the card up there. Now, let's go through each of these. So the first one is backwards vertical integration. Backwards vertical integration is expanding operations by moving closer to its suppliers or the source of raw materials. The reason why you do that, why you would essentially secure your supply chain, is to have control over your supply chain and additionally reduce dependency on external suppliers. External suppliers that could restrict supplies to you or could in the future increase your prices. So that loops beautifully with Porter's 5 forces because it will increase your supplier power and therefore help improve the profitability of your business or the industry if it's Porter's. Now, an example of backwards vertical integration could be a fast food chain acquires a farm. Why would they do that? Well, they do that to secure their meat, to secure their veg supplies. So that's going to be better for the business, allow them to control their supply chain from the farm by owning the farm and therefore reduce that dependency we discussed before. So that's backwards vertical integration. Forwards vertical integration is the opposite. Forwards integration is expanding operations by moving closer to the end consumer, the end customer of the products or the goods or services. Now here, the reason why you do that is to get more control over the outlets, more control over the retailers, if you in fact buy them, acquire them. And you might also get more control over the distribution network, and we're thinking about place within the marketing mix. Now, manufacturers, an example here, manufacturers might look to acquire a retail chain. So manufacturers make the goods, produce the goods. Retail chains, of course, sell the goods. So the manufacturer might buy the retail chain, and that enables them to sell directly to their customers. They've guaranteed the sale or the point of sale for their product that they are making. So therefore, from a Porter's 5 forces perspective, it might reduce buyer power because previously it was the retail chain that was buying from the manufacturer, but now the manufacturer owns the retail chain. So therefore, from the point of view of the manufacturer, the buyer power has reduced, which could be good for the profitability of that manufacturer's industry. Now, horizontal integration is the third. Horizontal integration is expanding by acquiring or merging with other companies that operate in the same industry or produce similar products. Why you do this? Well, increase your market share. So it's two similar businesses that are being merged or one is acquiring the other. That will clearly, if you had two and now you have one after the takeover or the acquiring, then that will reduce the amount of rivals, of course. But the big thing is it will help that new business to achieve economies of scale because they now are two businesses that have become one. So their output has increased, their average cost per unit will likely fall, and that will make them more price competitive following the horizontal integration. An example of a horizontal integration could be a telecommunications company. Well, it might acquire another telecommunications company. So that will increase the customers because now you get the customers from both. So therefore, this business here that acquired them will have more customers. Also, they might have more infrastructure because they have the other telecommunications infrastructure now, and therefore that will increase their market share. And by having more infrastructure, that will allow them to achieve economies of scale. This could link to Porter's 5 forces, of course, by buying one of your rivals. That will reduce the intensity of rivalry within the industry. But also it might reduce the threat of new entry. Because of those economies of scale, that means your cost per unit is very low now, which might put off anyone entering the market, make it less contestable because you are able to make something very, very cheap, essentially. The final type of growth is conglomerate integration, which is expanding into unrelated industries. Two ways to look at this. It could be the business is looking to diversify because they want to reduce or spread their risk. It could be something random like a tech business acquiring a food company. Totally random, perhaps doesn't really link. That could just be simply capital reallocation, which is just diversifying, playing it safe. Or it could be the other way. It could be by doing conglomerate integration, you are attempting to create synergies. It's not guaranteed, but you might create synergies. It could be a low-cost fashion business, maybe Primarché, that looks to do a joint venture with a sausage roll business, Greggs, and we know that's happened in the last few years. And that could be an example of conglomerate integration. So I hope that helps on types of growth. Of course, I'll see you at the next sesh.